Hey guys, Future Hotel here. Just while I was finishing editing this video, I decided to take a look at my statistics and I noticed that I have just surpassed 500 subscribers. So, thank you guys. This is a huge milestone for me. I genuinely didn't think I would make it here. I really appreciate that you guys really want to see me making Halo content. I also noticed that the UNSC Army video, the first video in this series, got over 1,000 views in its first month, which is huge for me. That puts it in my top 5 most viewed videos. I think it's actually number 4. So that's huge. That's great. So I just want to thank you all for the support and the nice messages that you guys have been leaving me behind. It's really encouraged me to keep making videos. So thank you for that. Hello everyone, Hotel here. Today we are going to be taking a look at my Mega Construx Banished and Covenant collection. As you can probably tell, there's a large difference between what I have for UNSC forces compared to what I have for Banished and Covenant forces. I think it's fair to say I'm a bit biased. I tried to split off my collection here as cleanly as I could, by species rather than by faction, as some classes of species can work for both Covenant and Banished armies, like the Elite Miner and the Elite Mercenary, both basically being the same figure. And just like last time, I have the vehicles in the back, which we'll cover after looking at all the figures up front. So, to start us off today, let's take a look at the Grunts. I have them arranged here with regular Grunts making up most of the formation, with the Grunt mules in the back. In the front of the formation, I have 2 Assault Grunts being flanked by red-colored Grunts leading the formation. Of note, I have 4 of the Halo 4 Grunts from the Ghosts of Requiem set, and I tend to think of these guys as either engineer types or demolition types for this army. Moving along, we have the Jackals. In this formation, I have 1 red armored Jackal as the leader from the Banished Mercenary set, 2 of the more detailed Halo Heroes Jackal mercenary figures, 8 regular Jackals, and 4 of the infamously deadly Jackal snipers. Of note, I also have 2 more Jackals still in packaging from when I purchased a Halo Infinite Warthog from a reseller about a year ago. I never got around to taking them out of the packaging and putting them together, and at the end of the video I'll expand on some of the figures that I've still kept in the packaging to this date. Let's take a look at the elites. To start them off, we have the leader up front. This would be classified as either a general or a warlord, depending on whether or not they're in the Banished or the Covenant. I believe that as this was a Banished figure from the Scorpion set, it is a Banished warlord. Behind, we have 3 elite ultras, with 2 of them having the classic white armor scheme, and the third having a red armor scheme. Behind them, we have 4 red elite mercenaries from the Banished Garrison set. Next, we have 12 blue armored elites, with them either being elite miners or elite mercenaries, depending on which faction they belong to. Of note, 4 of these elites are from the Ghosts of Requiem set, and are technically a named character when they don't have a helmet on. As I like to stay away from named characters in my mocks, I use them with helmets and as generic soldiers. Moving on, we have the Brutes. To start them off, we have a group of chieftains, with 1 being the primary chief, and the other 3 being the sub-chiefs or chiefs below him. I am not well versed in Banished or Covenant army structures, especially when compared to how I do my UNSC structures. I mainly just have groups, just for the Marines in UNSC to fight. In this group of chieftains, you can tell who is the main one by the red-colored armor shoulder armor and the detailed gravity hammer, while the other 3 chieftains have gold shoulder armor and non-detailed gravity hammers. Behind them, I have 5 captains, with the slightly more detailed captain being the main leader under the chieftains, where the other 4 captains are the individual group leaders. Back here, we have quite the assortment of brutes, the first line being 4 generic brute warriors from the Master Chief versus Brute Warrior packs that they used to make. I went on a spree when they went on sale once and bought 7 of them just to build up regular brutes. Behind them, we have 4 non-detailed red brute warriors from the Banished Garrison packs. I know they aren't as detailed as the brutes in front of them, but I love the color on their armor so much more. The camera doesn't quite capture it well, but it looks so nice in person. Next, we have the first of our 2 brute bodyguards from the Wombat drone set. With him are the 3 remaining brute warriors from before. In the next row, we have the second brute bodyguard, and then 3 brutes wearing purple tinted armor. I used to use them as bodyguards in my mocks before getting actual bodyguard figures to replace them. Behind them are 4 brute miners from the Gun Goose set. They're nice because their blue armor also lets them work as brute miners from the Covenant instead of being in the Banished. Lastly, we have my least favorite brutes, the silver-clad brutes that have some additional shoulder armor from spare parts. The reason I don't like these guys is because their feet have this issue where there's plastic between the toes, and it just doesn't let you stand them up on studs. I know you could probably just sand these down or file them down, but I don't want to have to basically do surgery on my figures to make them work properly. Next to the brutes, we have 4 hunters. 3 of them are light gray with dark gray shields, and the last one is dark gray with a dark gray shield. 2 of these are from the Scorpion set, one of them is from the Wasp set, and the last one is from the Pelican Inbound set. As I mentioned earlier, I do have some figures still in the packaging. I'll just bust those guys out really quick. Up first, we have a second Elite Warlord or General from the Scorpion, 2 Hunters from the Scorpion as well, and lastly, 2 regular Jackals, which I mentioned earlier were from the Halo Infinite Warthog. So that about wraps up the ground forces section. Up next, we're going to be taking a look at the vehicles. Starting off small, we have 4 of the Ghosts from the Ghosts of Requiem set. I really like these guys. There's something about the coloring that I just find so appealing. I know it doesn't seem to come across well on camera, but in real life, it's really pleasing to look at. I don't have much to say about these, other than that they have these weird blue lightning pieces that they stand on, and I can't seem to remember why they're there, so if there's some lore reason for that, let me know in the comments. Over here we have the hologram of Escharum from the Banished Phantom, who is technically not a real person, but a hologram instead, so he fits over here. Next to him, we have a single Banished Ghost. This is certainly one of the mega ghosts of all time. I like the front part, but I find the side flaps and the back area just so lacking in this build. Let's compare this ghost next to one of the Covenant ghosts from before. Just looking at the difference between the two, you can definitely tell that there's some build quality differences. The Banished ghost looks a lot weaker in my opinion, just not as great. I'm also not a fan of having these missile shooters in the front compared to the Ghost of Requiem's molded guns on the front. But that's just my opinion. I don't think that it looks as good. Following along, we have a Banished Chopper. I actually have 2 of these, but at the moment, one is still sealed in its box, and I have 0 reason to open it. While I love the build and design of this vehicle, I don't find it enjoyable for use in display or mocks or anything like that, just compared to a lot of the other vehicles I have here. I don't find that it likes to stand up well, and it's a pain to get it to work with scenes you're trying to make, so I opt to not use it when possible. You can tell because the brute that I have driving it is an old articulation brute, and I really don't like mixing between new and old when possible. I also have this turret here, which I believe was a Dollar General exclusive set in the US. It was just this turret with an orange Grunt conscript and I believe a Hazop Spartan with a shotgun. I picked it up just to get the Grunt and to have a Banished emplacement, which I still don't have a lot of anything like that. And I got it off of Walmart Canada's website of all places. I'm not sure how it ended up on there because typically we don't get US exclusive sets anywhere in Canada, so that was pretty cool. Alright, next up we have the Banished Skiff here. Mine has certainly seen better days, as I did take the cannon off because I wasn't really a big fan of how the stock cannon on this set looked. I tried to make my own, but I never really liked anything I made either, so I just use it as a place for a sniper to perch instead. It's a really nice set. I love the build, but my one gripe is that it can be a real pain to get any figures into the bay and have them being transported. Unless you're going to have them sitting or standing along the gray bit along the cargo hold, getting anyone deeper is a real challenge. I think it's visually very nice and a very unique set. I really like the driver chair area up here where you can basically position the driver around as if he's moving with the force of the skiff moving. There's a play feature where you turn the thruster on the back and it rotates the front turret. I don't really use this or think about it as I find it just falls apart easily. Like you just end up with the gears falling off or it unaligning and it just stops working. Overall, it's good to have at least one of these guys in your army to make it even just a little bit more intimidating. I do regret not picking up at least one more of these guys. Behind the skiff, we have two Banished Banshees. I really like these guys actually. I didn't like them at first when I got my first one because they just looked off to me for some reason. But after playing a lot of Halo Infinite, I realized that they're actually really accurate to the game models, and that makes it a-okay in my books. Going back to the Covenant side of things, we are going to take a look at the Wraith. This is actually the original Wraith, or the first Wraith that Mega Blocks at the time made. I had it as a kid, and by chance, when I started getting back into the Mega hobby, I found it nearly fully intact inside of a bin. This is the only set that I still have from my childhood, and it holds a very special place in my heart to do that. As you can see, there are some pieces missing, and I've had to add some pieces just to try and restore the look as best as possible. It does still open its cannon at the top, and that's all intact. I have all the little blue pieces in there, so it technically is able to shoot still. I have this Elite that has a deformed leg hiding inside of its turret here. I'm not sure if this is how the turret was originally, but I've set it up this way with either the original part or a part that I found. And as you'll see here, I had to cover up the bottom of the driver's hatch with Lego just because I was missing some pieces below and the driver would just fall out before. Next up, we have the Banshee from the Arbiter's Quest set. I have mixed feelings on this one, as I feel like its wings shouldn't be as angled as they are. I might just be misremembering how it was in Halo 2, but to me it just looks off. It is a very detailed set, and I like how it had the option to choose between the Covenant Banshee and the Heretic Banshee. I felt like that was really nice to add. I struggled to find this set, it was pretty hard. I only found it by chance when I was out of town visiting a friend. We stopped by Walmart and they happened to have one in stock. Here we have a shade turret with a friendly blue grunt operating it. I find the flexible frame kind of weird in a block-built set, but I think it serves its purpose well enough, although I find it makes it a bit hard to put figures into the turret. I do see a big flaw in this turret, is that when you try and adjust the cannons up or down, you have this happen. So I feel like it would have been nicer if the cannon was just independent from the shield piece just to avoid that issue, but otherwise I like it, and I wish that I got a few more of the Wasp sets just to have more of these guys. Alright, to wrap up what we have left, we have the Banished Phantom. A surprisingly hard to find set around here. I saw it once in stores, grabbed it, and it was never around again after that except online, where it costed a bit more than I paid in store for it. This is a really nice set in my opinion, and since it's my only Phantom, I love it. I know this doesn't beat the Covenant Phantom that Mega made a while back, but I think this is pretty good, especially without all the molded pieces that the other one had. It still looks really good and accurate to Halo Infinite's Phantom, so I love that. I like using this in mocks, as it makes a good deploy point for banished forces, and I'm truly glad to have this set for my army, so you'll probably see this a lot on this channel. Last, but certainly not least, we have the big guns, the Banished AA cannons. I wish that I had been able to get a third one of these, just because, that one mission in Halo Infinite, but I have two, and I feel like that's basically enough. I think that they are very nice looking, despite not being anywhere near scale, understandably. They're very good for making mocks and scenes. And actually, the first battle mock that I plan on putting together for this channel is a raid from the UNSC onto a Banished AA position using these AA guns. I love the design of these. I love the mobility that they have, and I especially love this little play feature of their generators popping off. Like, who asked for that? It's great. Alright, folks, that brings us to the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed my army updates. I will try to do more of them in the future if I get any large additions to my collections, but as it currently stands, that probably won't be anytime soon. I know that this army wasn't much compared to my UNSC army, but I hope it was at least an enjoyable video all the same. Thanks for watching, everyone. I appreciate each and every one of you and all the support you guys throw my way. Please let me know any thoughts or questions you have down in the comments. I really enjoy reading the messages you guys write me. And if you are feeling up to it, maybe consider subscribing to get informed as soon as I upload next. See you all next time, guys. Bye.